What's up, guys? My name is Gabe, and welcome back to the Trojan Blade. Welcome back to a brand new video. I'm coming at you right after USC's 73-13 win over the Missouri State Bears. And man, that was a lot of fun. Last year, starting the season against LSU was obviously really damn cool. But man, there's something just about sitting back, watching this team, getting to know this team, watching us absolutely dominate. It just made for a very fun evening. Now, guys, if that game put a smile on your face, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Really appreciate you all being here. Make sure you sound off in the comments. Let me know any and all thoughts you have about this game. Fascinating to see where you guys are with this. All right, so where to begin? I guess let's start with Jaden Maiava. He played one half of football, 15 of 18, 295 yards, 2 scores. Also had a few nice runs as well, running one in for a touchdown. Now, with everything I say, there's going to be the caveat of that opponent was really, really bad. That was essentially an FCS school who lost a ton of talent, and really they just couldn't hang on the field with us at all from an athletic perspective. But all we have is what we saw, and what we saw from Jaden Maiava was flawless. The only mistake he made was that bomb to Mekhi Lemon that he just sailed a little bit. But other than that, he was completely in command, completely in control. But against Missouri State, were we going to learn about how he deals with pressure, how he handles late game situations, anything like that? No, we weren't. But what I saw from Jaden Maiava is a guy that took massive steps as a leader, both on the field and on the sideline. Much more animated, much more involved with the team. He seemed like he wasn't thinking very much and he was just having fun. He was playing carefree football, and I really thought that showed up in this one. It was a joy to watch. He seemed really, really happy, super supportive of all of his teammates. And even when he came out of the game, every time they cut to him for the remainder, he was with someone different on the sideline. He was talking with freshmen. He was talking with veterans. He was around the defense, the offense, everybody. I love to see that. And on the field, he took care of the football. He was much more decisive than he was at any point last year. Now, things were wide open. Our wideouts were cooking their defensive backs. But still, he made the plays he had to. He didn't force anything. Overall, very good on the night. I couldn't ask for much more from him, to be honest. I thought that the Trojan run game was pretty outstanding in this one. Wayman Jordan only got 5 carries, but that's all we needed to see. That guy is different. His size mixed with his finesse and then added on the speed. I mean, good God, this guy is an absolute weapon. And guys, we're going to have him for multiple years. He has a lot of eligibility left. Eli Sanders has one of the goofiest yet the most effective running style I've ever seen. Super high knees, kind of looks like he's running in quicksand, but he's blowing by everybody. Really like to see his ability as a pass catcher though. As we play tougher opponents, I really feel like that's going to be his main role. Love that from him. You guys know I'm a big fan of Lake McCree, but what I will say is that free safety for Missouri State being juked out by Lake McCree in open space, that's definitely not going to go on his highlight reel. Feel bad for that kid. He just looked lost out there, but good for Lake. A massive 64-yard touchdown. And guys, we went all of 2024, no tight end touchdowns. Well, we got one tonight. Also, just a crazy stat. We scored 73 points, obviously. Not one of those points was scored by a wide receiver. Going through the stat sheet here, you had touchdowns from Jaden Maiava, Hassan Longstreet, King Miller, Wayman Jordan, Brian Jackson, Eli Sanders, Lake McCree, and Carson Tabarachi. And also Bishop Fitzgerald on that pick 6. This was just an absolute demolition of Missouri State any way you look at it. Coming out of this game, if I had to say I was worried about one thing, I would say wide receiver 3. Mekhi Lemon, Jacoby Lane, my God, are they incredible. 2 of the best receivers in the country, no doubt. But no one really impressed me tonight at that wide receiver 3 spot. Not against bigger opponents anyway. Prince Strawn barely saw any action. Zacharias Williams is a nice player, but I don't think he's at that level. And Tanuk Hines, we just need to see more from him. It was his first game. He didn't get a lot of balls thrown his way. That's just going to take some time to see what he turns into. But yeah, if I had any concerns going forward, it would be that. And defensively, it was a little sloppy. We gave up a few too many explosives for my liking. It was the first game. There's a lot of new pieces out there. There was a ton of rotation. I didn't think that the intensity was where you would want it to be, coming off a 6-6 season and all of that. But small things that I think are going to be cleaned up pretty quickly. And yeah, we wanted to see sacks, we wanted to see pressures, and we saw a ton of them tonight. 5 sacks overall, 13 TFLs. Braylon Shelby had 2 sacks on the night. Kennedy Urlacher had 1. Cam Fountain had 1. Cam Fountain looked like a man possessed. All the hype he was getting out of camp, I think that was completely warranted based on what we saw tonight. Bishop Fitzgerald flashed every single drive, it seemed like. He was everywhere. Such a smart player. Seeing the field from that center field role, which, by the way, the starting secondary to start the game, Kamari Ramsey did slide down to nickel, and your two safeties were Christian Pierce and Bishop Fitzgerald. We did play a fair amount of cover one, and Bishop was a single high safety, just like we talked about all throughout the offseason. And he looked damn good in that role. He is so instinctive, he is so smart, and he's a good enough athlete to make all the plays you need him to. The play he made on that pick six, that could have been anybody across from him, any opponent. That was a fantastic play. He was definitely the player of the game for me on the defensive side. I really liked what we saw from Braylon Conley, the cornerback. Devin Tompkins flashed. One guy that was just everywhere when he came in later in the game was Matai Tagovailoa, the true freshman linebacker, number 44. Now, obviously, physically, he's not ready to play. Too thin, too lean. He has to put on some serious weight. But when he does, he is going to be a hell of a player. He is so instinctual. He is so violent. He loves contact. He was flying around on special teams. That kid is absolutely fearless. And speaking of fearless, let's flip to the offensive side of the ball and talk about the debut of Hassan Longstreet. First off, this guy is a goddamn lunatic. Putting his shoulder down and running into groups of defenders like he is not even afraid at all. And man, he was delivering the boom too. A physical runner. Hassan Longstreet is a dude. There were times that he was hesitant to throw the ball. He wanted to be super sure that he was going to hit the target when he released. He finished the day 9 of 9 for 74 yards and 1 passing touchdown. I think that really illustrates just how careful he was being. He also ran the ball 8 times for 54 yards, had 2 scores. A hell of an athlete. Even if Jaden Mayava starts every single game the rest of this year, Hassan Longstreet has to factor in somehow. There has to be packages. He's an incredible athlete, a damn good runner, really like his vision. And yeah, the future's bright with him and Wayman Jordan in that Trojan backfield. But just talking about the running back room at large here for a second, we talked about Wayman Jordan, we talked about Eli Sanders. We all know who Brian Jackson is. He got a touchdown as well. Very physical back. But man, how about King Miller? 4 carries for 80 yards. Obviously had that 75-yarder. Explosive, explosive, explosive. Now, as good as Woody Marks was last year, that explosiveness is something we were severely lacking from the running back room overall. Eli Sanders can provide that. And I know the whole competition caveat, but it looks like King Miller can provide that as well. But talking about the offensive line, going to go a lot deeper into this after I do my rewatch. The O-line's something you have to really take a look at. But first impressions, Elijah Page looks like he carried over his strong performances from last year. He was on top of it. He knew exactly what he was doing. We just had such a physical advantage over that Missouri State front. It's really hard to take away any grand conclusions from the offensive line here. One thing that did stand out, I guess in a negative way, Aaron Dunn, the true freshman, nowhere near ready to play. I heard that he was having his struggles in camp. I do think he is going to be a good player down the road, but I also don't think I realized how far behind he was. That was a pretty alarming performance. So yeah, he for sure has a long way to go. Now, just some things about the team in general. The guys arriving all in the same outfit, I love that. It shouldn't be a fashion show walking into the stadium. Very glad we got that cleaned up. It was also very nice seeing everybody uniform on the field. White socks, black cleats. I mean, the last few years you've had guys in yellow tights. Some have black tights, some have white tights, yellow arm sleeves, all this crazy stuff that just looked terrible. It was nice seeing us look like an actual team this year. And yes, little stuff like that absolutely matters. That's why when you see the Alabamas and the Ohio States and these programs that have sustained success, their guys aren't out wearing crazy colored accessories. They all look like a team. And this team tonight felt more like a team than any USC squad I've seen since Lincoln Riley's been here. Even the 2022 squad. They were supporting each other on the sidelines. Yogi Roth pointed out on the broadcast. But no one was sitting down, even late in the game when all the walk-ons were in. Everybody was on their feet, hyping each other up. And it was a beautiful thing to see. Speaking of walk-ons, I have to call out Garrett Pomerantz real quick. If you guys don't think I was screaming at the TV when he decided to cut to the right on that interception return, I was losing it. That poor kid is going to regret that for the rest of his life. For the life of me, I don't know if the ref was bothering him or what, but why he didn't just go straight or even a little bit to the left. It was a walk-in pick six. It was hilarious seeing everyone giving him a hard time on the sideline about that. But yeah, this team feels like a tight-knit group. You've heard Lincoln talk about it, and I think it's fair to say after seeing all of that, it wasn't BS. Now, we will see what happens when this team gets punched in the mouth, because it's going to happen. We're going to lose a game somewhere. When that happens, how do we respond? That's going to be the big question. How does Jaden Mayava deal with pressure? How does Killian O'Connor deal with these bigger fronts in the Big Ten on a week-in, week-out basis? But yeah, on a night where USC scored 73 points, where we didn't punt one time, where we easily could have scored at least 80 if we wanted to, probably a lot more. My biggest takeaway is that this team appears to be a team. And when you compare that to 2023, when you compare that to the tail end of 2024, it was a welcome sight. And overall, I am so damn excited to watch this USC team going forward.